So let's talk about two things. The Maxim and Mr. Cosmoline Daydream. I want to start with the Maxim. The Maxim here is a device developed by Dr. Hiram Maxim in the late 1800s to enable people to fire things very, very fast at a very rapid rate. It is water-cooled and is designed to keep going with a full tank of water to keep the barrel cool so it stops heating up and getting warped and all that kind of fun stuff. It was a very successful design and utilized by almost every country on the planet in World War I and even into World War II. The Russians had a pretty unique version, and their version featured a much wider cap to put water into that you could pop open and also shove snow into. What does Russia have a lot of in the wintertime? I can tell you it's not sunshiny beaches. From there, Mr. Cosmoline Daydream, a good friend of mine, had a dream of himself. It was not Cosmoline, but in fact, it was to own a Maxim. And I don't mean the kind of Maxim you hide under your bed from your parents. I'm referring to a 1910 Imperial Russian snowcap Maxim. Mr. Daydream had looked long and hard and finally managed to purchase said Maxim. Fully transferrable, fully legally owned, everything along those lines. In honor of his accomplishments, I decided, being that I'm a Warhammer nerd who's addicted to painting models, to make a model for him at his request, in an offhand joke. I started off by basing everything in speed paint Grim Black, followed by a pass of Ironclad Gray from the John Blanche Master Kit. After that, I went ahead with some Uniform Gray, and then mixed in some Uniform Gray and Ash White to kind of hit some highlights. The gunner is done with some soft tone for his cap with some Blood Moon Red speed paint for the red star on the cap, and going over to the pants with the same soft tone. I eventually mixed in some mid-brown later. The boots are mid-brown with soft tone over top of that, and the skin is tanned flesh with some warm flesh shade after some necrotic flesh highlights. The eyes are the eyes. I hate painting eyes, but that's okay. From that point, I went ahead and used some military shader for the uniform jacket to make it look green, and hit some soft tone for the webbing gear. The ammo bearer is much along the same lines. His helmet is a mixture of green tone and military shader, and his uniform is soft tone with mid-brown, and the boots are the Grimdark Shadow paint from the same John Blanche Master Kit. The ammo cans and the gun were interesting. Soviet green is really kind of hard to replicate in my opinion. It's not an olive drab. It's not a jungle green. It's not a lime green. It's somehow in between all of those and none of those at the same time. However, the emerald green metallic paint from Army Painter is pretty close, so I went ahead and did that across the machine gun and the ammo cans, and then made some parts kind of, not as covered up to hit with some gray shading ink from Golden, and then some of the Grimdark Shadow later to give it a kind of weathered look. I did dry brush some plate metal silver across the gun, and made it look a little more beat up, a little bit more used. I then went ahead and took everything and put it on the model. Once everything was based up, I went ahead and added some Vallejo mud to kind of give it that mud effect. If you followed my recent work, I've been on a kick about Trench Crusade and Deathcore of Krieg, so mud is kind of my thing right now. Went ahead and took all that, let it sit, added a scorched tuft up front, and allowed everything kind of to dry. And there you have it. That is the Cosmoline Daydream MG kit. One day I will get this Mr. Daydream next time we can meet up and see each other, and then we'll go from there. So, for all the subscribers, thank you for watching, and hopefully y'all enjoyed me rambling in my car about some model I painted last night before I went to bed.